Welcome to this episode of the Fast and Lightspeed podcast, your podcast for everything science fiction, fantasy, and more. I am your Captain Kenny Lightspeed with my executive officer,
Joey.
Lightspeed. You don't go by Light. What's your secondary name?
Lightspeed, second in command. That's my.
But just Joey.
Yeah.
So I present myself as Kenny Lightspeed.
Do you want me to go by Joey Ashpacer? That'd be a bit lame.
Dumb.
That would be the lame.
Dumb name.
No, it's a good name.
It's a
good
dumb
name. It's a good name. It's a good name. It's a good
I
name.
gotta turn up the volume of my headphones. Okay. That's a dumb name.
No, it's a good name.
How are you doing today, Joey? Are you relaxed right now?
No.
No, you're
No,
not
I'm
relaxed.
fired up because this is
You're
gonna
fired
be
up.
This is a controversial podcast episode. I can tell you that. You're gonna hate both of us.
Do you have news for today?
I know something we didn't talk about Star Wars Celebration. I want to know your general thoughts on the Skeleton Crew Star Wars show.
Oh, I don't know what that is.
Oh, you don't know?
No, I thought I saw a graphic for it. Well, we'll get into.
That's the John Watts
Let
show.
me give the overview. So we've got a overview for this today. Read the title. Today we are talking about video games. What makes a video game enjoyable to different people? So we'll be going through some of the most popular game franchises that we enjoy and despise. Some that we despise.
Okay.
And we'll argue their merits. That's what our main topic is going to be. But you had some news.
Yep.
You had some science fiction news, some Star Wars news.
Star Wars. So basically, the Skeleton Crew is the John Watts project. That's supposed to be following a bunch of kids.
Because he did the Spider-Man Homecoming, right?
Yes. And how it's supposed to be the Goonies, but in space. In Star Wars.
All right. Is this like Star Trek Prodigy?
I sure hope not. We haven't seen Star Trek
I
Prodigy.
haven't watched. Supposedly it's all right.
It could be great. I bet it's actually good.
Supposedly it's good.
I'll start watching it maybe after Lower Decks.
Okay.
I'm behind.
That's all that's about Skeleton Crew.
Just about kids, and they have what's his name? Who's that one guy in Captain Marvel? The guy who's like, I bet you can't beat me up in a fight, and then she just blasts him.
Oh, Von Rog?
Yeah,
Whatever
that actor.
Jude Law's character is,
Yes, yes, that
right?
actor's.
Dumbledore. Right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that actor's gonna be in it.
Okay. Interesting. You'd be interesting. That's interesting. Okay.
Do you have any strong
I
thoughts?
don't know. What time period does it take place in?
I don't think they said. Probably in between 3 and 4.
I don't like it.
You know
I
what?
don't like it.
I want it to take place in.
No.
I want to take it in between 1 and 2, because there's nothing there.
Right, there's nothing there. That's why they haven't done stuff then. I read some kids' books back in the day, or like young adult books way long ago. That was like Obi-Wan and Anakin on Adventures.
That would be so cool, but then you would have to recast everyone.
Or you do it animated.
Yes.
But I don't think they'll do that.
I told you that I think they should make a post episode 6 Luke Skywalker, Han Solo, Princess Leia.
No, they're all separate. We already know pretty much what happens with them
That's
throughout
fine.
that year, though.
That's fine.
What do you mean?
They can be separate and still have a show going on. Just an anthology.
I don't
Clone
know.
Wars style.
That's what they did with Battlefront, pretty much.
Don't
They did that with
compare it to
Battlefront too.
Battlefront.
I mean, but that's what they did, wasn't it?
Nah, you're overthinking
Yeah.
it.
What are you talking about? I'm overthinking
I'm
it.
just-
That's what it was.
I'm just telling you, I think
They
it'd be-
showed the Naboo stuff.
I think it would be
Princess
great.
Leia on Naboo. You had Han Solo on Takodana.
Just imagine how
You had
cool
Luke
it would
on that planet with the bugs. That was lame.
be. Just imagine an anthology with Luke Skywalker, Han Solo, and Princess Leia.
Yeah, we had that with Battlefront 2. That wasn't that great.
You're making bad points here. You're talking about Iden
I'm
Versio.
making legitimate points.
No, you're not.
I'm making points that exist in reality.
No, you're not.
The Force is on my side.
You're not. But how do you have any thoughts on the show?
It sounds like there's nothing about it.
We got. Are you interested? Some people are against it. Some people are for it.
I care more about Acolyte still. And there's nothing about Acolyte.
No, there's not. There hasn't even been a single casting yet, to my knowledge.
Right. I want that show. I want that show so bad. Did we have any other news? Were there any trailers that came out?
No, honestly, my feed is still filled up with Jedi, Survivor stuff.
Yeah.
And what the heck are they doing in Obi-Wan?
Oh. Yeah, we've been caught up with Obi-Wan. Only 3 episodes left in that, and we'll do a review.
Yep.
We're going to do Jurassic Park or Jurassic World this next week.
That'd be fun. It depends on when we go.
We'll have to see if we see that.
Maybe Friday we can.
I don't know if that's... I don't know. I have no clue how to judge that movie based off of what we've seen.
We don't need to even rewatch any of the old movies. We
Not
know them.
really.
We know them.
We know that there's a clone girl.
They cloned somebody.
There's a velociraptor called Blue.
We know that Jurassic Park 2, 3, and 1 are probably all the same.
What do you mean by that?
I don't know. I think Jurassic Park 2 might be my favorite.
Wow. That's bold.
I know.
That's a bold move.
I know. There's going to be a lot of bold takes in this thing. I just like the T-Rex actually just in California. Like, I think that's just funny.
Just in what? Oh, in Lost World?
Yeah. I mean, what do you mean in Lost World?
In Lost World. In Jurassic Park Lost World.
Oh, yeah, that's what it's called. I just call it Jurassic Park 2.
Wow.
Like a casual, I guess.
You're a casual. Speaking of casuals, let's get into our topic for today. So, I've got a list of stuff that we're going to talk about. So, we're talking about video games. What are a couple of your favorite video games, Joey? Let's start off with that to give ideas of our tastes.
Okay.
Okay, where did our gaming start, really? What was the first video game we played, probably?
Lego Star Wars.
That's probably some of the first ones that we can remember.
Not even the complete saga. We played Lego games before that.
Yeah, on the PlayStation 2, we had a PlayStation 2. We had the original 2.
We've owned every single
games.
Lego Star Wars game. Even on the DS.
I feel like that's not true.
No, it is true.
I don't think that's true.
No, it's true. I take pride in the fact.
We played that a lot. Eventually we got
Mario Kart.
Mario Kart. That was a big one.
Hmm.
And those are pretty... Because you have Lego Star Wars, which is pretty much a... How'd you describe that? A co-op.
Everybody knows what Lego Star Wars is. Why are you explaining this?
It's a co-op. What genre would you put that in, though? A co-op adventure game.
Yeah.
Probably, right? Mario Kart is racing. Somewhat competitive racing, right?
Mm-hmm. Coconut Mall.
And then if you go to... Should we jump to Xbox? Eventually we got the Xbox 360.
Then there's a really good Transformers game.
What was that? War for Cybertron?
We're jumping. We're
How
jumping.
Are you doing that?
I don't know. I'm jumping. We got the Xbox to play Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2.
Yeah, I got it because
Modern Warfare 3.
all the friends played Call of Duty, and I'm like, I want to play Call of Duty. So we got the Xbox 360, and I played Modern Warfare 3.
Mm-hmm.
Supposedly the worst one out of those games. But what else was I gonna do?
Dude,
you don't get old Call of Duties. That's not really a thing, is it, in that culture?
No, but honestly, if you want to go back and buy Modern Warfare 2, you could.
But that kind of shaped a bit of my competitive multiplayer demand.
Mm-hmm.
And then soon after, I got Halo Reach, which really changed a lot for me.
It changed the gaming genre.
It changed my view on video games. It showed me... I played through that campaign, and it was pretty incredible. I didn't know anything about the Covenant or about that world. I was like, wow, this looks incredible.
It feels
the
great.
gameplay is like, whoa, I'm fighting these aliens that are all unique and
Yes.
have these different abilities,
Mhm.
all these different weapons that
Mhm.
all have their different uses, and more than Call of Duty, which you're fighting just humans
And then
everywhere.
you'd always be confused on why you press down left stick to zoom in when in Call of Duty it's left trigger, and it makes no sense why they changed it.
Oh, well,
Bungie, how dare you?
but that really shaped me. I would say that was a defining shape. What about you? What
I
defined-
100% agree with everything.
But you play because nowadays I play a lot of competitive, a lot of multiplayer based stuff. I still do a lot of Halo, but that Call of Duty stuff.
Mm-hmm.
What other stuff? I've played Hunt Showdown around.
Yeah.
Warzone was a big thing
Yep.
couple years ago
Yep.
when that started up. What other stuff have I done? Yeah, a lot of that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
There was this one, Hell Let Loose, but you are different.
What do you mean I'm different?
Well, you aren't purely multiplayer gamer. You are very much the RPG
Yeah.
player.
You could say like the next big step. Like, of course, we kept on playing these other games and stuff, but the only other game that really hit me for a while was Minecraft.
Minecraft's a huge one because we first were introduced to Minecraft on YouTube,
Yes,
which I'd imagine a lot of kids were.
that's literally the entire generation for us. Do you ever have like conversations with your friends and said, "What kind of Minecraft YouTuber did you watch growing up?" Have you ever had that?
No.
Dude, we would just trade names, and then it'd be like, "Oh, really? Me too."
Maybe I've had a discussion with. Oh yeah, Sea of Thieves is the huge one as well for me. Sea of Thieves introduced the.
Oh, you're getting a little bit. You're getting a
later
little
stuff, right?
past 5 years.
Well, no, we're going in. Yeah, I just went from what really I think defined it for me. It was probably Halo Reach. Then I led into Halo 4, which I was like into. I was looking up videos for weapons that dealt the most DPS.
Yeah.
I remember.
With
It was the DMR in Halo 4.
yes.
Except the light rifle, though. If you were scoped in on the light rifle, it would do slightly more DPS.
I disagree with that today, but I've never agreed
But
with
what?
that.
That was the.
Technically, that's
How
true.
can you just
Technically, that's
disagree
true.
with the science.
Technically, that's true. But dude, there's not a one solves all gun in Halo 4.
It was a DMR.
No, it
It was
wasn't.
a DMR and then the bolt shot.
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't.
You talk in the competitive space. Supposedly,
We're
that's what
already
it
arguing.
was.
This is not the point.
That's what it was, dude. Supposedly, that's what. What are you talking about? You didn't play competitively.
That's how you did.
What are you talking
I'm the
about?
best at Halo 4.
What?
I'm the best Halo 4 player there is.
So you brought up Minecraft. So I was thinking about Minecraft, right? How that works, or what that is.
This is
right?
a sandbox game.
It's a sandbox, right? But I was also trying to figure out if you don't know anything about video games, you haven't touched a video game. Say you're in your, you're an adult, okay?
Okay.
You haven't touched a video game before.
Okay.
What video game do you think you could drop that person into?
I have been thinking about this question so much recently.
Right.
You have no idea.
What video game would you drop this person into? Now, a full-grown adult, pretty much no experience with video games. If they have had experience, it's been like Pac-Man. It's like Pac-Man or like a mobile game,
I've been thinking about this question so much,
like a Clash of Clans or something. Yeah.
and honestly, I have no freaking clue. I was thinking maybe a Minecraft.
I think Minecraft is that game. It introduces you to first-person stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It can introduce you to crafting mechanics.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty simple crafting mechanics. It can introduce you to like NPC interaction.
You could play Stardew. Stardew was a good one.
That's not really a video game. What do you learn from that game though that can be applied to other video games?
That's true. That's
That's
problem.
what I'm thinking about. I'm thinking about a video game that lets you branch off into other games.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And I think Minecraft is that game, probably.
Mm-hmm.
Which, yeah, you don't disagree with that.
No, I don't.
Right, because it has first person crafting has combat to a degree.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
It has base building mechanics, pretty much. it's really a covers all game
Mm-hmm.
that really shouldn't be difficult.
Yep.
Oh,
We skipped over the greatest game of all time.
what?
Club Penguin.
Oh, well, that was an introduction to like MMOs type stuff.
Yeah. For the viewers at home, my wall is painted with Club Penguin stuff.
Wow, why would you say that?
And I'm 19 years old.
I might cut this out.
You're gonna cut this out? Okay, you can cut that out. That's fine. And we're back.
We're back.
So yeah, Club Penguin. Okay, going back to the Minecraft thing though.
Okay.
I feel like I had two different phases of Minecraft. I had the Xbox generation of Minecraft where I played on Xbox.
Mm-hmm.
And then eventually when I got it for PC, that's when I got competitive in the Minecraft. And I started playing Sky Wars.
Competitive Minecraft is kind of weird to me.
It's a thing.
I'm sure it is. I'm sure it's a thing.
Twitch
doesn't
rivals.
Mean it's cool.
Twitch rivals, bro.
You know, it doesn't mean it's cool.
Dude, back in 2015, all my friends used to play on Skype.
Yeah, now there's Discord.
Yes. I still, whenever I hear the Discord call, I get goosebumps. I get a middle school throwback in my brain.
So another big thing though, another big game that left an impact on this was Skyrim.
Yes, that's the game that made me leave Minecraft and never come back.
That's the game that, because we never played original Skyrim. We played it back in 2014. Whenever the special edition dropped.
Yes.
Right. When was that? Yeah, whenever the special edition dropped, which was we touched because I remember watching videos on it about things to do in Skyrim.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there were some fun videos on that. I was like, this looks like a cool game. I'm not even sure if I knew about Lord of the Rings by that time, but the whole look of it being this basically a warrior in this fantasy setting fighting dragons was cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then we got to play it when the special edition came out, and we had the PlayStation 4 and we could play it.
Mm-hmm.
And that whole experience, I forget if we played Fallout 4 before then. I think we did.
We did, but we didn't get into it. Neither one of us.
I didn't like Fallout 4. I don't know what about it.
We'll get into Fallout later for sure.
Skyrim though was like it. I was like, this world is awesome. I don't have to worry about managing ammo.
Yes.
All I needed was a sword and shield,
mm-hmm.
and I can learn shouts and stuff. I tried to do magic, but I'm like, this is sword and shield is just easier.
Yep. You just felt like your character getting stronger and stronger.
It was very interesting. The story was pretty engaging too.
Yeah.
Along with the DLCs were pretty engaging. I don't think Dragonborn DLC was as good. I love Dawnguard. Dawnguard is my favorite DLC.
The Dragonborn DLC, I think, is great, but also it could have been done better.
But Skyrim is pretty much universally loved, isn't it?
Yes.
Would you say Oblivion is as universally loved? It's got a lot of memes.
It doesn't have as mainstream.
It's not as mainstream. Same with everything before it. Which, is it just because it's an older game?
Yeah.
Yeah. But yes, Skyrim is mainstream. People will still make hours of content from that game. You know, I'm sure many people still stream that game.
People install thousands of mods.
Mods are crazy.
Skyrim Anniversary Edition came out less than a year ago.
Yes. Yep. That's exactly right.
And they're going to release another version. I swear. They're going to release one more before Elder Scrolls 6 comes out.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, what makes Elder Scrolls Skyrim so good? In your opinion?
So, how do you feel about the gameplay in Skyrim?
The gameplay, to me, the base gameplay is fun. It's fun. I like being able to craft stuff. I like the different items. Spell casting, when you know how to do it and your spells can affect people, is fun.
Mm-hmm.
It's always the sword stuff, like sword and shield stuff, that gets a little...
Yeah, it's just...
meh. But even then, there were some moments where I would be in like an intense fight with a sword and shield against like a dragon, and I was able to shield. I would be slashing at it, and I would hear it's like getting ready to breathe its breath, do a shout, and then I smash it with the shield, and it staggers him. It's not bad. It's not horrible.
Yeah.
It's just when you're fighting an enemy that has so much health, and it feels like you're just whacking it with a wiffle bat.
Mm-hmm.
That's when it starts to feel not as fun.
Then you turn into a werewolf and then maul them all, and then it's like, this game is fun again.
So many abilities in that game. Skyrim could be up there with some of the best games of all time.
It
definitely
absolutely is. Hands down. We gotta get
another game up there. That's not Xbox or PlayStation. Breath of the Wild.
Oh,
we haven't played any. You haven't played any other Legend of Zelda games, have you?
Technically, yes.
Have you? I forget which one you've played.
Link's Awakening, when they remade it. I didn't finish the game though.
Okay, but was Breath of the Wild still better than that?
Oh, without a doubt.
Yeah, Breath of the Wild to me, even though I don't think I've replayed the whole thing before, I tried playing on their master mode.
Yeah.
And that wasn't fun for me.
I love the master mode.
I think Breath of the Wild is like, in terms of like single player games, especially Nintendo game, could be, I think, the best game of all time.
Honestly, we're having a discussion is what game do you start somebody who's an adult to go play, and my first thought was Breath of the Wild. But I think
after Minecraft, and you could maybe try to push that.
I think it's a lot.
It's a risk.
Even though it's like you wouldn't just give. What age do you think you would start being able to play Breath of the Wild?
What do you mean, what age?
What age do you think you would be able to fully understand and be able to play Breath of the Wild? Probably 8.
If you've grown up with video games, you're saying?
Yes.
Like you've grown up with like Lego games and stuff.
You in particular.
You could be like 12 years old and
12?
try to play that game. You could try to play that game. I'm not sure how far you'll get. I don't think you're going to fight any of the lion elves or whatever the lion people were, the Minotaur people are.
No.
But you'll be able to go around on the plateau and fight, I forget the name of them, the goblin guys.
Mm-hmm.
I bet you'd be able to do that.
Yeah.
But, yeah, you probably wouldn't be able to fight many bosses at 12 years old. Yeah. Maybe. Because there's no difficulty setting for that game, is there? I don't think
there is.
No, there is.
No, there is.
I think it's just. I
think
it's just the game or master
mode.
No,
there's.
I'm gonna look it up.
No, there's difficulties.
Breath of the Wild difficulties.
Because you can play on a hard difficulty.
I don't think so. I think that's what master mode was about. Here we go. Unlike most modern games, Breath of the Wild doesn't have a difficulty setting.
No way.
But the challenge of the adventure is in large part up to the player. I think something interesting about Breath of the Wild is that it's very Dark Souls-esque to me.
Dark Souls.
I think it's almost like an Elden Ring.
Whoa.
Like in terms of.
Whoa.
I think a lot of parts of it is almost like that.
Whoa.
Is that, large part because of that too. Yeah. There's no difficulty setting, which Dark Souls is pretty infamous for having, for not having. In terms of very recently, Elden Ring, right?
Did not impact me at all.
Well, no, but I'm just saying that's a very modern. That's a very recent game that most people that have played it would say. Pretty much everybody that's played it would say that it is one, at least the greatest game of this year.
Yeah, and
one of the greatest games of very recent memory in modern gaming. Would you call it?
I would honestly. I'm the outlier here.
Like what modern game? What would you consider modern gaming?
Well, of course, that's modern.
I'm talking Fortnite post Fortnite. Oh. That's what I'm calling. Fortnite. That's what I would call modern.
Well,
gaming.
there's Halo Infinite. That's still, I think, a great game.
It's fun, base mechanically wise.
Yeah.
This starts to get into your live service, though, right? Suddenly we're talking about live service games,
Oh,
which you hate.
I don't like the idea of having a live service. I think you can keep updating a game to a certain point, but you gotta ditch it out.
Sure.
We're not gonna.
What do you mean?
We're not gonna be able to go that far in the live service.
Why?
I don't think you should make a game expecting it to be a live service necessarily.
Make a game expecting it to be a live service game. I think you can, but I don't think you should go in. I think you can make it with that in mind, but you shouldn't go in expecting it to happen 100%. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So with a Warzone, right? They make Warzone, but the people that make Warzone or whatever live service game need to be sure that there's a full game and that they have everything that they would add. Pretty much for the first few months. Like they shouldn't rely on being a live service game to add content to it. They should have all the content in mind already. And after the game is launched, they begin thinking of content.
And we're back.
We're back. Where were we?
We're talking about live service and whether or not you should start having a game as a live service.
Oh.
And we're finding common ground on this topic that we would never, ever usually find common ground.
I just was talking about, what was it, that they shouldn't be thinking... They should put in the game all the content that they have in mind, and they should only think of new content after the game's launched.
Yeah. I mean, that's not necessarily fair, because usually when you launch a game, you usually are like, oh, we should add this in, but it's too late in the process because it's about to release next week. But it's a good idea.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, when they are writing up what the game should be, like a Star Citizen. Instead of expanding their scope.
You should have said a No Man's Sky, and then
a No Man's Sky.
Then they say all this
stuff. I
stuff.
don't know what they had in mind for No Man's Sky.
Then they say all this stuff, and then it's not in the game. We liked No Man's Sky when it first came out, though.
It was alright.
It was just tedious.
No Man's Sky felt really tedious all the time, trying to collect materials all the time. When I just wanted to fly around and like shoot bad guys. Fly around and explore the plants or whatever. I wanted a better way to make money than like creating a farm in your base. I didn't want to do base building. It was a big part of it. And then that became like the cornerstone of that game, which I wasn't a fan of.
Yeah.
I wanted to focus on my ship. But to focus on your ship, you gotta gather a million freaking resources. And to gather resources, you have to gather more resources to fuel your stuff. Really tedious. It's way too tedious.
They messed.
What about Grand Theft Auto Online?
Awful.
That's one of the biggest games of all time.
It's awful.
What do you mean?
It's awful.
How?
It's absolutely awful.
Why?
I don't know if they should just release the single player mode.
People
added
love
multiplayer.
People love it though.
Some people do.
Like we played it,
Dude, I'm not playing it again.
I played with some guys. We just did some of the like party modes. That game is awesome as like just a party game too, though. Dude. Like not even as like a run around whatever open world shooter. It's just a party game. It's really fun with its different just game
Deadline
modes. Deadline, that's the Tron one, right?
Dude, I don't know. I'm like, how did they get away with this?
They had the one where you have the cars that go down the ramp and you have the parachute to land on targets. Yeah, I think GTA Online is a good just party game.
Yeah, I mean,
the heist stuff is also fun.
Even the party game stuff, it's like, dude, you're not making
heist fun though. Still in that game. We played heists in that game too, and we had fun. Just some of the co-op missions are fun.
The heists I have mixed feelings for.
Okay.
The progression is just so bad.
What do you mean?
You just can't progress in that game without forking out your own money, really.
Do you think... I do think maybe it should be free to play at some point.
Yeah, I'm shocked they have...
That would justify microtransactions.
It may as well be free to play.
But it's not. It's the thing. You still
It's
have to
straight
pay to buy it.
It's not. It's like free to play. I think if you have PS Plus on the PS5,
Is that a thing?
something like that.
Okay. Almost like a Game Pass type deal for some games. Okay.
But it's like, dude, that's not free to play.
What about Destiny?
Both. We're gonna talk about both Destinies here.
I almost loop them in together.
Destiny 1, amazing. You can tell that it was very passion driven. I think if Destiny did not sell well, they probably would not have made The Taken King. And The Taken King changed that game and made an already great game, in my opinion.
Yeah.
An even better game.
Okay. So, because that's a sort of live service example.
Yes.
And that's a good live service, I would say.
It's amazing.
It's a fairly... They listen to people. They're like, when people were annoyed by certain things, I think they really listen to people. So let's get into... I have a list of points that I want
Just wait.
No, I want to get into this list of points.
I'll tell you this after the podcast.
We got a list of points. So, what makes a good video game? Is it gameplay versus story?
Or graphics. You forgot graphics?
Well, no. Graphics is not entwined in that.
Okay.
I think a lot of times in these games, there's a certain balance between good gameplay, and good story.
Yes.
What would be a game with good gameplay? There's a certain balance between good gameplay and good story. I'm trying to think of I'm trying to think of something that would be purely good gameplay and not a good story, in my opinion. What would be one like that? You could argue... I mean, that's a lot of just, multiplayer games that pretty much have no story. Like a Fortnite, which people enjoy. Like a... what else? A Sea of Thieves could be in there. I enjoy Sea of Thieves. And it doesn't really have a story. It's got story elements to it that they've added in. Any type of... You could really say Call of Duty, too, in some cases. In some cases, it's got good story.
Yes.
But in terms of... A big part of the Call of Duty is the multiplayer, right? Which, there's no story to that.
Yeah. I think Call of Duty's single player and campaign... games that don't even have a story, they get hated on. Such as say Black Ops 4. That game is always hated for not having a story.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
That caused irreparable damage to the Black Ops franchise.
Oh, they already caused damage when they had just robots, though. By Black Ops 3, I don't think people even liked the campaign for Call of Duties by that point. The first really good campaign since, like, I don't even know, maybe Advanced Warfare. I think people liked Advanced Warfare enough.
Yeah, that's where the press F to pay respects.
Right. Yeah, it had some memes. That was liked enough where we could say that people liked it.
And Kevin Spacey.
After that, you had like Ghosts, and onwards from there, people did not care.
I've never played Ghosts.
Up until
I haven't played this game, but I like the game. I like Call of Duty Ghosts.
I played Ghosts, and looking back on it, it's not great.
Oh, really?
No, it was ambitious.
Okay.
They tried going for it was ambitious, but it just didn't get it.
Okay.
It was a bit too action flicky and not enough gritty, gritty wartime, like modern sci-fi war stuff.
Sure.
Nobody really cared from Ghosts on up until Modern Warfare 2019, right? Yeah, 2019.
Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah, that's right.
Has a really good campaign, and then Cold War was pretty good campaign. It had technical issues for a bit, I heard, but I played it. I didn't have any issues on Xbox One. Xbox One, Xbox Series X. I forget which. Vanguard, I don't think anybody cares.
Vanguard, I've heard good things, but nobody's played it, so.
So, but story. So that's gameplay side, right? Multiplayer games and stuff, that's good gameplay, generally.
Mm-hmm.
They're gameplay focused. Then there's story focused games.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of games like that. There's one game that always comes to mind for me that's like, we cared about the story about this game. We went out, we wanted to make a movie that's a game. And to me, you know what I'm going to say.
I think I know. But I don't want to assume, so I don't want to.
That game to me is Last of Us. Which is, let's make a game that feels like a movie by literally having you do nothing in this game.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing interesting. I have not fully played my own, but I've watched a lot of gameplay to see if I would like it.
You've just seen me play it over my shoulder.
I've seen you play it. I've watched streamers play it.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, it looks like a game where you don't really do anything.
You're just watching cutscenes.
It looks like you watch 15 minutes of cutscenes to then cut to walking around through a apocalyptic Earth with infected around, to then move a ladder and maybe shoot some guy. Mm-hmm. Maybe shoot with a very... How would you describe the crafting system? Since I don't know too much about it.
It's very just... You collect literally 3 resources,
right.
And you just use the same 3 resources.
A very simplistic crafting system.
Yes.
Right. And you won't argue that.
Oh, no, I won't argue that at all. I made that very clear.
Right. I think I played a couple hours of the multiplayer for it. Multiplayer is all right.
Yes.
It's all right. It's got a unique feel to it, the multiplayer.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not the core of that game. The core of that game is the story mode, which, like I said, it feels like a movie that they expect you to watch and barely play. And the parts that you play, it's you pulling up a door.
Can I interject here a little bit?
Okay.
I think there's a lot with The Last of Us that I absolutely love.
Okay.
Such as when you're hanging upside down and you're shooting zombies.
Okay.
Like, that's not a cutscene. And that's
thing,
still just cool level design.
That's not unique, though. That's not unique. That's a thing in Tomb Raider.
Of course, the story's incredible.
Is it, though?
Yeah, I love Fallout.
Fallout.
Yeah.
We're not talking about Fallout.
No, but I love post-apocalyptic games.
Right.
I got into those.
Yeah, you can do that well, but I don't think The Last of Us is interesting particularly.
No, it's good. I love the story for The Last of Us. I think it's really good. I think it struggles a lot with uniqueness a lot of times. But no,
what is
good.
The story of Last of Us even though? What is it?
A man.
This guy. It's Troy Baker.
Troy Baker
protecting a girl who might or might not be the cure to the infection.
Yeah.
And what's the infection?
It's a fungus.
It's a fungus that
I don't know
adapts.
Who cares? That's unique. It's based in real life stuff.
But real life is more exciting though.
No, the fungus just takes over frogs. That's based off in real life.
There's no lab that like converts the fungus to.
Oh, you're talking about
humans.
this. You're talking about this. It's like real life lore is better than The Last of Us.
I'm not. That might be a bit conspiratorial. I don't know if that's. Do people accept like? I don't know.
And we're back.
We didn't actually cut anything.
No, you're not gonna cut it.
Well, nothing got cut.
Okay.
There was nothing to cut. Because
Okay.
we didn't go too deep into it.
Okay.
But I do have a theory. I do think that sometimes real life is more exciting than this game, than what this game introduces.
Oh, yeah. People are going to be more interested in a new Star Wars movie than if we actually discover alien life in the real world.
I don't know.
Have you ever heard that?
Yeah, I think I've heard that.
Okay, but anyway, no, it's a good story. I think it suffers from what a lot of shows have, which is a great
shows. We're not talking about shows though. That's the problem. We're not talking about TV shows. We're talking about a video game.
I mean, you're not wrong. Something that a lot of things.
You should be comparing
a lot of
TV show.
other story suffer with, which is a great story,
Stories.
but then they kind of play it. Then they kind of just go into like similar sub stories that are just kind of basic.
But why is this a video game though? Why is The Last of Us a video game?
Because it's interactive.
To what degree though?
Pretty well.
Again, at least in Fallout, I have problems with when I've watched you play Fallout. Okay. I haven't really played any Fallout.
You haven't seen me play
I played
isometric
Skyrim.
Fallout.
I played Skyrim, which is, at least in
You
there,
played Skyrim.
you have choices to talk about. Right?
Both of them do.
Right. You have choices that you can say. There's none of that in The Last
I
of
thought you were
Us.
expecting something else. Okay.
There's that.
Yeah.
None. Last of Us, you're just watching people talk, and you're supposed to, they try to get you to feel about them. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And the gameplay is very bare bones, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Why didn't they just try? It feels like somebody.
Keep in mind,
had
this
a
game was
story.
made in 2015.
Okay.
I don't know whether, it's probably just as good as any other game coming
That's
out. Then
post Skyrim.
it is post Skyrim.
That's post, not new, not newer God of War, but there was God of War.
Halo 3 was
then.
probably out, right?
Right. Yeah. Halo 3 was like 2009.
Halo 3 is better than The Last of Us. That's hands down.
Halo 2. The original Halo trilogy plus maybe ODST was out.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. Oh, it's
those were 6 years before at least.
So The Last of Us. No, it works as a video game really well.
Why though? How?
I think that a lot of stuff just doesn't age well with The Last of Us. Like the stupid how Ellie can't swim, so you have to get a plank of wood and just carry her around.
But
That stuff is lame.
But what other? I don't know what gameplay is in this game.
Because you haven't played the game.
I've watched it though, and the gameplay to me looks like a lot of wandering around until I guess there's to loot stuff for very basic crafting stuff, right?
Sure.
I just don't get it.
I mean, still unlocking. Unlocking a new rate of fire for a gun isn't really.
Are there
that's not the point of gun.
Like, what are you talking about?
Well,
There's no skill trees.
You can collect weapon parts, and with different weapon parts, you can upgrade your weapons to increase rate of fire. That's not the game though. That's just a fun little side thing. Whatever, it doesn't matter.
It just seems like such a
The shooting seems fun.
horrible game.
The stealth is great. The
But
actual level design.
I'm sure every part of this game, in terms of gameplay, you can find something that's better. I don't think it excels at anything in particular in its gameplay. Where it's like you look at The Last of Us and be like, that part of its gameplay is the top of in any video game, or even close to the top.
I want to disagree. I think it does a lot of things well.
Because stealth, you can go to any Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
Does stealth better. Crafting, pretty much any game does crafting better.
Yeah.
Okay. Looting, again, looting.
Of course.
Whatever. Any sort of upgrading, right?
Mm.
I think the only thing they were going for with Last of Us is the story.
And now they're making a TV show about it.
And they were like, that's what should have been, maybe.
That's what
right?
that's what you think.
That's what I think. And that's maybe just what should have been. Because, I don't think there was anything in that game that's it excels at outside of people love its story.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see that. I could maybe understand why some people do. But again, I think the story's boring.
I just think it's fun. Just like, should I go into this area guns blazing, or should I try to stealth it? And
does it
I think
really
that's
give
fun.
you that option though?
Yeah, it does.
But does that affect anything?
Yeah, of course. It affects your ammo and how much you have later on. I mean, ultimately, of course, it doesn't change the story at all.
I don't think it has any actual groundbreaking gameplay.
I sympathize with you. I would agree. Nothing super groundbreaking in terms of gameplay, but the gameplay that is there, although it's not the best in anything that it really does, is still really solid, and I'm really happy with it, and it's a fun game to play.
To me, it looks.
It
like
still
a
works.
boring game.
The story, 100% comes first. 100%.
Yeah, and that's my problem with that.
Yeah.
That's why I lean more to the gameplay side. That's why I like a Doom over it.
A Doom.
I would say a good balance for a single player game would be a God of War, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Where I think the gameplay for that has really good enemy variety, and The Last of Us has some enemy variety. To me, it sounds like it's just, from what I've seen, it's blind zombies versus zombies that can run a bit faster.
There's a couple.
What other ones are there?
There's like probably like 6. I think there's.
Are they all that different though to interact with?
Yeah, I mean, you're asking me to talk about a game I haven't played since like at least 2020. So, but like yeah, I think there's like spitters and stuff, and obviously there's clickers.
Creative.
Nothing super, but in gameplay it works.
I bet Left 4 Dead is more interesting. Left 4 Dead is a gameplay only thing. I don't think there's really any story to Left 4 Dead.
No.
I haven't played it even, but to me that's a game that looks like it could be fun to play. Very co-op driven too.
What's that one game where it's like you have a little settlement and you can play as the people inside? It's not State of Decay. It's another game like it. It's an Xbox game.
Was it Dying Light?
No, I'll think of it some other time.
I'm not sure.
But that's not just gameplay heavy.
But yeah, I think God of War is a good example of a really good story.
You're bringing this up.
Because
I brought it up.
Yeah, you did bring it up before. Because God of War, I think, has a really good story. I love the story to God of War.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the gameplay for it is also fun. I like the weapons they give you.
Mm-hmm.
And they let you upgrade abilities.
Mm-hmm.
And your armor. And yeah.
Sure.
And that was, again, one. Because a lot for me is that I don't usually buy a video game until I've seen, like, gameplay of it. Where I've seen like maybe an hour's worth of gameplay for it.
You're a real advocate for that.
And then I'm like, okay, I like this. I like what I see. I like what I'm hearing. And I'm going to buy this game. That's for me for a lot of games that I don't already have a vested interest in, like, say, Halo. Halo, I'm like always going to buy daily on launch day. Yeah. But for a God of War, I was very much like, I don't know, because I didn't have any interest in God of War. Same with Elden Ring. I didn't have any vested interest in that. And then I watched quite a bit of gameplay and stuff for that. I'm like, this gameplay looks sick. Which leads me into my new thing. Necessary skill.
Oh, that sucks. Can we go?
Necessary skill.
For the audience, my brother brought up God of War. I think I want to stay on God of War for a minute. Do you think God of War is better than The Last of Us because it's open world and you can do stuff post story?
I'm not sure if I would call it open world. I'm not sure if I would call that open world.
I mean, you can explore after the thing. It
has a setting. I
don't
know if I call that
open
world.
The world is far bigger than what it really tells you that you could go in.
I don't think even if that game wasn't maybe open world by a technicality.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I don't think I would like it any less, probably. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean, I think you're asking a hypothetical when I think that definitely does influence the decision. Would you consider it's just as much a open world game as Jedi Fallen Order?
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Fallen Order. I kind of want to play Fallen Order again. I want to play on PC.
But you want to play on PC? I want to play on Xbox, and I don't think there's a reason to get it again on Xbox because you already own it on PlayStation.
Twice, 2 other times.
But I wanted that next gen, that Series X.
I would like to do Fallen Order again. I want to give it another try.
I want to
give it another chance. I don't know if I was too tough on it. I feel like now after I've been playing Elden Ring, I feel like I can give another chance. Yeah. I don't know why that is.
That and also you're just a PC gamer now.
I'm a bit of a PC gamer.
I think you definitely should when it gets cheap.
I put it on my wish list on Steam.
There will be a sale. Just wait on it.
Yeah, that's a decision I've made.
Maybe before Jedi Survivor comes out, we can talk about it.
Yeah. That one was one at the time. Yeah, I want to re-review that. I want to go back to it and clean my thoughts on that.
Yeah, we could.
Because there were some parts of the story that I'm like,
But
it could also just be my hatred of still being in the dark times of Star Wars.
Yes.
I want to get out of that freaking dark period so bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm so bad. But now with Kenobi's out, with this show, it's kind of put me in the mood for that.
I remember I remember being in a hotel room, just watching that trailer for Fallen Order just over and over again on my phone.
Wow.
And there's some other trailer came out for like a movie, and I'm like, dude, this video game looks better than the movie.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember the movie what it was. Somebody can probably check whatever.
Solo.
Not Solo. It was not Solo. I liked the Solo trailer a lot.
So we'll get into the next point I have: necessary skill. So I'm a huge proponent that a game should require skill in terms of being able to measure how good it is. That if a game requires no skill, I don't think that game, I don't know, I don't want to say it's not worth playing, but I don't think it's a contender for being an amazing game, in my opinion. I think a game should require practice to play at a bit. It should require you to get good at the game over time and not just level up stats. I don't think that's getting good. I think that's just buffing your character, because anyone in any game, anyone could grind away to get a higher strength bonus so they can do so that their sword attacks can do more damage. Especially if in the end hitting somebody with your sword requires little to no skill.
You totally flipped on this, by the way. In past years, you would make fun of me for playing a Call of Duty game and saying, Joey, this is a point-and-shoot game.
When did you play Call of Duty?
I remember I have a distinct memory of playing Call of Duty Black Ops 4.
I did say that.
And you're like...
But I thought it was just weird that you were playing Blackout.
Like, you would just be like, Joey, just point and shoot. It's so easy. This game is boring.
Because that was after I haven't played a Call of Duty for a long time.
Yeah, you were like, get off the Xbox. It's my turn. This is just a point and shoot game. Go play something cool.
Yeah, I don't think at that point I didn't play Call of Duty for a long time. And then I played Modern Warfare. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm in the shooter genre again. This is me back on MW3. I'm living the dream right now.
Yeah, you got really into that game.
I got really into
and I didn't love it.
Loadouts and stuff.
Yeah.
Because also I don't think progression. This is more of a multiplayer thing. I think progression in a single player, it's okay to get stuff that's better, but I still think you need skill in order to play. In a multiplayer, I think progression shouldn't mean that you get better stuff. It means that you should get more options for stuff. But in terms of a single player thing, I don't think you should be able to use VATS to lock onto an enemy and just
here we go. It's all
press a button to shoot them.
As you can see, we got to the central focus of the podcast. My brother cannot stand
Fallout requires no skill.
It requires so much skill.
It requires no skill.
Go play Fallout
Absolutely
2.
No skill.
Go play Fallout 2 and then tell me that it takes no skill. Do it. I dare you.
What's Fallout 2? Isn't that one of the side scrollers?
That's one of the isometric games. If you play it, it's all point and shoot.
I'm talking about modern Fallout.
You just click a game and press the fire button. You will not win. You will not be able to beat that game.
I'm talking about modern Fallout. Like your Fallout 3s onward.
Fallout 76? The newest game?
Sure. I haven't played that. I'm sure that one, since there's a multiplayer component, I'm sure that requires a bit more skill.
You say that.
Well, yeah, because you can't stop time.
No, you can't. You can still lock on.
Still lock on to things, right?
You can still lock on to things, but
sure.
Dude, I never do that. It's awful.
Sure.
It's like made fun of because of how bad it is.
Right. There you go. But in Fallout New Vegas, your favorite one.
No, Fallout 3 is my favorite one.
Fallout 3, your favorite one. Requires no skill.
No, it takes skill. Where's
the skill come into play in a Fallout shooter?
Knowing how to make your character.
That's not skill. You can look up it does not take skill to look up a YouTube video that shows what stats to put your numbers into.
But you see, that's just kind of lame, though.
And what perks to pick out to make a good build.
That
doesn't require skill.
No, I would say it does.
A skill you cannot gain. You can get some. It's not gaining skill from a video, but you can learn tips to then try to utilize in getting skill. But if you can just copy one for one what somebody does in a YouTube video to build a character, that's not skill.
But like, that's just not how you. No one wants to do that. Then you're just not even having fun in a video game at that point.
What do you mean?
The whole idea of playing an RPG is making your own character,
Right.
making your own decisions.
Right.
If you're just following a guide, then no reason why you're not having fun with a video game, because you're not playing the game as you're supposed to.
All right. I'm not arguing that. I'm arguing that building a character doesn't require skill. You are arguing that it takes skill.
It takes skill.
It doesn't take skill.
It takes skill because you earlier in this same podcast, you were making fun of how I just can't find ammo. It's like, yeah, that's because you're not good at the game. Me playing Fallout 4 for the first time, then playing Fallout 4 a second time.
I didn't say
drastic
I
skill
said
difference.
That for some reason, I was worried about ammo.
There has not been a single Fallout game where the first time I played it, I was good at it, and the second time I played it, I was great. Then the third time I played it, I'm the best. I'm just on a killing spree.
Why though? What do you mean?
Because I've learned. I learned what to do.
But what though? Give an example.
I know what to put my stats into. I know what choices to make.
You can look that stuff up though.
You
can look up outcomes for any of those things though. That doesn't require skill.
There's a lot of
Here's
outcomes.
what requires skill. Killing a boss in Elden Ring. Learning the patterns of a boss. Finding the holes in where to attack them.
Mm-hmm.
That's stuff that you can maybe get some glimpses at in a video. In like a YouTube video or in a guide, right? You might be able to get some insight into that. But even when you go up against that boss, if you have no skill at video games, okay, that's not going to help you. That's what I'm talking about. Building a character in Fallout does not take skill.
It does.
It takes preference.
You should try playing Fallout. Because it does take skill.
That doesn't take skill. Building the character doesn't take skill.
It's one of the most famous franchises for a reason.
Okay, I won't argue that.
And it takes skill to go play any of the Fallout games.
Where's the skill come into play? I've already debunked building characters. Find me
that's the entire game.
That's not skill though.
That's the game.
That doesn't take skill though, because it's not the shooting. You haven't argued that the shooting takes skill. You haven't argued that really any point in the combat.
I mean, the shooting. As each entry goes along, it definitely takes more and more skill. Not counting 76 because lag destroys any shooting in that game. But Fallout 4, it's really good.
Do the enemy? What type of movement are you even encountering? From the bit of Fallout 4 that I played, it's either the enemies are gonna destroy you because they have super powerful weapons and you don't.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to if you get shot by them, it doesn't. It's either you die or you're tanking it, and they don't really move at all. Do any of the enemies in these Fallout games really have smart AI? That's what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah.
What do they do?
Smarter than Skyrim. Some of them jump around. Some of them, obviously, they shoot at you. They go to cover. They hide behind cover.
But you can still lock onto them and shoot their heads, though, right? With that.
But there's still AP and stuff. AP, you have to choose between sprinting or using VATS. And then VATS in Fallout 4 does not stop time. It just slows it down. So it's kind of nerfed, but it's just different. I'm telling you, Fallout 4 is an amazing looter shooter. I think that's the game that you're gonna like the most, even though you don't like it, of course.
I just don't see how Fallout takes any
and
skill.
Then, of course, there's
especially the ones that you keep playing.
It's fun. It's there's a lot more to Fallout than just skill, honestly. But no, there is skill. And Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas, I think I just like a lot more because there's just Fallout 4 is a great looter shooter, but playing Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas, I just feel like there's all these cool little knickknacks I can collect, and ooh, this is a weapon where I can call an orbital strike from the sun, and all these other cool stuff, and that's just fun stuff to collect that I just like doing over and over again.
Talking about skill.
I know. I'm
talking about necessary skill.
I don't think that's necessarily.
When you go into a Halo game, there's a lot of skill involved in that, especially depending on the difficulty you're playing.
Okay.
You can't just point and shoot in a lot of them.
Okay.
Especially if you're playing I started Lasso today on Infinite.
Oh, really?
I played the first mission of Lasso in Halo Infinite.
Good.
Let me tell you that. There's a lot of skill involved in that.
Oh, I have no doubt.
There's some skill involved in that.
Yeah. Going back to
But in
Fallout.
all these Halo games, you can't just watch a video and be like, all right, this is the attributes I'm going to put my numbers into.
Yeah.
Because they don't have attributes. And there, you might see some strategies, such as like noob comboing elites, right? You can be told how to do that, but you still need the actual skill to be able to have a plasma pistol, charge it while avoiding shots from enemies, lock on to an elite, shoot it, hopefully, aim it enough to where it hits them, and then quickly switching to a precision weapon to headshot them.
Yeah,
that takes skill.
There's stuff like that.
That's skill.
There's stuff like that in Fallout. Like
what?
In one of the DLC, you have to. There's somebody with an actual shield around them, and you have to use a squirt gun, because the water is able to shut down the shield, and then you have to switch to another gun. We're also getting fired at different angles and stuff from the crowd. While the guys in obviously like power armor and stuff. There's that same kind of, obviously it's not.
But can you just lock onto those things though with VATS though with your squirt?
But
gun?
then then you can't run around. Then you can't sprint, and the enemies do sprint. Like it's kind of a, what do you use? What do you take away?
I don't know.
There's pros and cons to using VATS in these games.
I don't know.
But something else is obviously there's survival mode if you want more of a challenge in like Fallout New Vegas, which it seems like you might like more.
Is that permadeath?
No, but for Fallout 4, the survival mode, you can't fast travel, which makes the game a lot harder. You have to eat food and drink water.
That just sounds tedious, though. We both know how I felt about Red Dead Redemption 2. Tedious.
So tedious. Oh my gosh, you have to hold down a trigger to look at somebody.
Time to brush your horse. It's like, why? Why do we have to do
Time
this?
to shave.
Brushing a horse. Gotta shave. Gotta eat some broth.
Talk about a game about having an adult play, like now, who didn't grow up on video games. Red Dead Redemption 2, dead last. Dead
Really?
last. Last game I would recommend somebody to play.
Wow.
Honestly, yeah, dead last.
Wow. I'm trying to think. Maybe. That's got some controls to it.
Dude, there's so much to that game.
I wish I finished that game, but it felt like it was going to go on forever, and I'm like, I don't have
I felt like it was going nowhere. We played that game?
I didn't have any patience. Well, it was cool because you would go from area to area, and you would do, and it's pretty much you go in the area, you get run out of town in that area. You go to the next area, you get run out of town. But I liked that loop. I thought that was an enduring loop. I don't know. It just felt like it was long, and I got.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
And I felt like I don't know.
Yeah.
I also felt like I also barely learned how to play it somehow. It was very strange to me. I don't know why, but that was one. Where do you think that lines up on the gameplay versus story spectrum?
Red Dead Redemption 2?
Yeah.
I didn't love the gameplay in there.
Is it closer to story then? Probably.
I would say so, but of course people love the gameplay.
The gameplay in its base self, I can't remember.
To be honest, I don't love either parts of that game, so it's just not my type of game. It's too slow.
But you understand why people would like it.
Yeah, of course.
That's one that I totally understand why people like it. I think if I was patient enough, and I don't know, if I didn't have other games at the time, I would have liked that more.
I agree. I'm the same way.
Yeah. What else in terms of necessary skill? How do you feel about people that say that an Elden Ring or a Dark Souls should have an easy mode? This is a long silence. I didn't mute anything.
I think they should add it.
What?
I'm sorry.
Oh
I knew this was going to be controversial.
Gosh, dude.
I know. I'm sorry.
You are a casual.
I'm not a casual.
You're kidding. You think they should add an easy mode to these games?
I think.
What?
I don't know why
Should they add an easy mode to Breath of the Wild?
Yeah, they should add.
Oh my gosh.
There's more power to you. If you don't want to use it, then don't.
What?
What?
That's crazy. You don't think that takes away from other people's achievements, though? For, like, beating an Elden Ring.
I didn't think about that.
To beating all the bosses when somebody else can just activate easy mode and kill them all fairly much easier.
No, I don't think it does.
Wow.
No, because at the end of the day, you still know. Well, I beat this character on the hardest difficulty.
Do you think it takes away a big thing that I've read and seen videos explaining why it shouldn't have an easy mode? Is that a big part of it is also a shared experience that everybody who has played certain Dark Souls games have. It's a shared experience that they've all beat an enemy at the same. That they've all had the same amount of difficulty fighting this boss, and nobody can say, "Well, you probably did it on easy mode or whatever." You don't think that would take away from that experience?
Well, obviously, I think you should be able to go back and check. Like in Halo Infinite, you're able to go back and see like the hardest difficulty somebody's played the campaign.
But you don't get to do that when you're talking about a game on Reddit. You don't get to go back and see. That's what I'm really talking about.
Oh.
If you're talking about this game, when you go...
Just don't assume the worst of people. How about you just do that?
When there's the Elden Ring subreddit, you know that everybody in that game, have beat these bosses, and they were all up to par with the bosses that you've played against. That was a part of the explanation that I read.
Well, don't make it be... Like, of course, there should be an easy... I think there should be an easy mode.
Oh my
I guess,
gosh.
of course not.
Oh
I know. I'm
dude.
sorry.
Oh my god.
But just some people just can't play video games all the time, and they want to actually just have a game where they can just kind of relax more.
You know why I would say that?
What?
Go play Stardew Valley.
Oh!
Don't play those games. It's a game not for you.
I mean, yeah. I'm not saying you're wrong.
This is your problem. You don't think there should be any necessary skill.
No!
You're amongst the... It's not accessible group.
No.
Yeah, that's what you are.
No.
Oh my gosh. We just unraveled the mystery.
No.
I didn't know you were a Dark Souls easy mode guy.
No. There's a
man.
lot of skill in these games.
Oh my gosh, dude.
Would anybody play on the easy mode? Some would. But the people on Reddit bragging about their achievements definitely wouldn't be. Nobody on Reddit's going to care if you're playing on easy mode or not.
Yes, they would.
No, they wouldn't.
Yeah. But it's not even that. It's about the developer's vision of it, right? It's that there's also a billion problems with how you would adjust the difficulty to it as well. That was in this one video that I don't remember the reasons why. But there was a lot of bouncing issues. Like, you can't just either decrease an enemy's health or decrease the amount of damage it does.
Why not?
I forget the reasons why, but there was like certain effects to it. Yeah, I can't remember what it was.
I think there has to be like a longer cooldown on effect on like attacks.
I'll link it to you. I want you to watch this video.
Okay.
And see if it convinces you.
Okay, what is this the last thing on your list?
No, we're like not even halfway.
Oh my
but
gosh.
we'll skip through.
No,
are we done with necessary skill then?
I mean,
we get your point now. You think there should be an easy mode in Dark Souls, so that
no,
that's like saying Wolverine Origins is the best. That's the best X-Men movie.
It is.
It's not though. Not close.
No, I think
we'll go into art design. How important is art design to you for a
very
game?
important?
Yeah.
If the game just looks bleak and depressing and not exhilarating,
that's my problem with Fallout and Last of Us.
Nope.
I love what's your favorite art design for a video game?
Fallout.
Oh my gosh.
It's so unique.
I like
it gives
Sea
the
of
game
Thieves.
entire direction.
I like Sea of Thieves quite a bit. I like Halo's art direction has been good.
I love the
fairly
Outer
consistent.
Worlds art direction a lot as well.
Okay. Doesn't that just look like Fallout in space though?
Yeah, of course.
I rolled my eyes right there. I like Oh, I said Sea of Thieves. I said Halo. Doom has a really interesting one as well.
Mm-hmm.
Doom's pretty good. God of War is really good. I have written Variety.
I never played this game. Horizon Zero Dawn, I think, has pretty good art style as well.
Oh, sure. Yeah,
We never played those games though.
But I can understand why somebody would think that looks interesting. I'm always worried that that's a Last of Us situation. But when I look at stuff about it doesn't look like that.
No, it doesn't. It looks like a God of War type game, but it's just probably not as good as God of War.
Sure. I have Variety listed down. I think it has to do with like enemy variety and variety of weapons.
But yeah,
variety of options and things to do.
Yeah,
overall.
Of course, that has everything to do with it.
Which I don't think Last of Us has anything to. I think Last of Us sucks at that.
No, there's always that one area that you haven't discovered before. Or
what
there's
that one.
That's
linear.
Yeah, it's linear.
Goes into my last point: open world versus linear levels.
Yeah.
What is better?
Fallout.
Objectively, what is better? Open world or linear levels? Objectively.
I don't think you can make a comparison.
I just broke your brain.
I don't think you can make this comparison. I was going back and forth in my chair. I don't think you can make this comparison. I think that's way too hard.
I'm going to make the claim that overall, to have a extended life for a game, on through streaming, through content creation, it has to be open world.
Oof.
I think it's very difficult to do that for any sort of game that has linear levels. That's not maybe even like, yeah. There's some game, I guess, like there are like shooters, but even Halo has done it now with Infinite, which is allowed for content creation, especially when co-op comes out for that. There should be crazy amounts of content creation with that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but even with the old Halo campaigns, you can only do so much in those levels before it's like, okay. They had Easter eggs in those. That was the content creation. But outside of that, right? People would replay those levels, replay those games, but in games that are linear levels, is there anyone that has really stood the test of time that has linear levels in terms of like content creation and life to it?
The Last of Us people still play it, of course.
But do they do anything new though, or is it just people playing it?
Anything new? Probably out of anything new, probably not. Eventually, you have to hit that hard point that you can't play the game anymore. Like you can't do anything new because, of course, you've discovered everything.
Right.
But it's the idea of, would you rather have a game that's as wide as a ocean, but as shallow as a river? Would you like a game that's short and has a lot of depth to it? Like, would you rather have a game with 500 side quests? Or would you rather have a game with 50 side quests, but the 50 side quests are amazing and can be played entirely different ways? Or would you rather have the hundreds of quests that can only be played one way?
I don't know.
You don't know what I'm kind of talking about?
That's not the question.
I think this is a good follow-up question. Because if for single player games, although it might be linear, there's you can add a lot of depth to those single missions, each individual mission. And even though a game might seem big and have all this different stuff, if you get at the same result and you play the mission just over and over again, and it's the exact same, that's also boring. I feel like Skyrim falls short of this a lot, which is why I haven't replayed it in forever.
People will make videos about Skyrim though forever.
That's true, because of modding.
Not even that though. You can go into any dungeon or cave, and you can infer a story from it.
Yeah.
From Not even just from NPCs, but from bodies on the ground, from books on shelves that you can read. So I'm not sure what you mean.
Well, just would you rather have more like depth is a big thing. Just being able to play differently. You're talking about more of these like little
I don't know what you mean.
I get what you're talking about, and that's definitely true.
I don't know what you're talking about, though. I get what you're saying, that not every game needs an open world. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Not every... I'm just saying that for a game to be great, or for the greatest games that have the longest lives are generally open world. Or they're multiplayer.
Would you consider Destiny to be an open world game?
Has open world elements.
Yeah. Would you consider it to be open
I
world?
would call it open environment.
Because I would say Destiny is probably one of my favorite games, and I wouldn't say it's really open world.
Okay. Yeah, I would call it open environment.
The Outer Worlds isn't really considered open world. It's considered a hub world game.
Okay.
I disagree. And those are some of my favorite games.
All right, my last question to you. We've been going for an hour and 20 minutes.
I have some things I want to ask you.
No,
No.
we have to cut it off here.
Nope.
I have one
Nope.
question for you.
Nope. You can't interrogate me.
Does a video game to be good, to be good, be really good, have to have violence?
No.
Give an example.
Forza. I haven't played Forza. People love Forza. No violence in the game.
You can crash into other cars, though.
That's not violence.
That's pretty violent.
That's car gore. That's no.
That's pretty violent, though.
No. Can I ask a question now? No.
Do people think Forza is a great game?
Yeah, people love Forza. Forza Horizon 5 was like, I think outsold Halo.
What?
I think it went crazy.
All right.
All right, I have a question for you.
No, I think we gotta call it here.
No, Kenny, don't you
So,
dare do this. Kenny,
week,
don't
I
you
think
dare.
we're gonna
Kenny,
do
don't you dare.
Jurassic World.
Kenny, don't you dare. Do you think
I'm cutting
having
your
a
mic right here.
No.
So,
Kenny.
Thanks
Kenny,
for listening
don't.
to this episode
Kenny, this
of
sucks.
Podcast.
Kenny, I'm not doing another podcast episode ever again if you do this.
What?
Would you?
We're an hour and 21 minutes.
We have to say this. Do you think having a customizable character that you play as, do you think that matters?
Does it matter? What do you mean? Matter in what degree?
Do you think it's okay to go play as a character that the story forces you to play as?
I don't think it matters all
The
that
story
much.
dictates you to play as Joel.
I don't think it matters all that much.
Or the story forces you to play as Master Chief.
I don't think it matters all that much.
You don't think so?
I think for some people it can be more enjoyable to either have your own character or to not worry about that. I think there are certain advantages to having a set character, because then you can actually have them be a character, not just a voiceless protagonist, like that happens a lot. And that's my opinion. I don't think that's a defining factor whether or not a game is good or not.
You don't think so? I feel like at one point, I think everybody would kind of like to have their own character that they create. Though.
Okay, sure.
I just think that's an interesting question. And the biggest question of all, that I really, really want to hear from you, desperately. Does a game need multiplayer? Does a game need multiplayer?
Not every game needs multiplayer.
Do you think a game needs, in order to be great, or one of the best games, needs multiplayer?
No.
What's your favorite video game that's not multiplayer? Is it in your top 5?
In top 5, I have never listed out top however many games.
Okay.
I don't like doing
Obviously, we talked about Breath of the Wild. That's a purely single player game.
Right, Breath of the Wild is up
But what
there.
other ones do you
God
really
of
like
War
that?
would be up there.
Is it?
Probably. God of War is really good.
I feel like you haven't touched that game. We
I would
barely
say
talked about it.
Doom, but I guess Doom does have a multiplayer mode.
Yeah.
Although I never played it. There was another one I'm trying to think of. I mean, I haven't done a multiplayer in Elden Ring. What else? Jedi Fallen Order, people like that, and that has no multiplayer bits to it. And
Okay.
Skyrim, dude.
Skyrim. Yes.
So I don't know why you would ask this question.
Well, it's the whole thing about EA saying nobody wants to play single player games.
I'm just saying that I think multiplayer games often have a longer life and allow for a longer community interaction with each other. Of course, that's not always true compared to other games that are often open world and offer additional content creation, but that's me.
Okay.
All right, thanks for listening to this episode of the Faster Than Lightspeed podcast. Check us out on Twitter and our website, fasterthanlightspeed.com. This has been your Captain Kenny Lightspeed with my XO.
Joey.
And this has been the Faster Than Lightspeed podcast.